I don't know what I expected, but there was a musical interlude with John Legend just playing piano in what I assume is his home, and with his Grammys behind him.
How much do you think he got paid for that?
I don't know. Like, maybe he's just a big fan of Data, and he's just like, you know what? I love graphs and I love charts.
Amazing.
I don't know.
Sound is Data though. Everything's Data.
The D in Dengen is for data.
Data
engine. Hello and welcome to the YASEcast. My name is Lamo. I'm joined today by Morgan.
Hey.
And Gord.
Oh, hey, yo.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 24. Oh my gosh, what a past, absolutely insane last week we've had. Usually, I mean, with COVID, we've been saying a lot, like, the past week has felt like a year. This past week has felt like 2 years, for both things going on in gaming, in the YASOsphere, and also just the world in general. Good fucking lord. But we're not going to talk about too much of that right now. We're focused on the YASOsphere, the Yase orb, if you will.
Orb gang.
Orb gang.
Orb.
I'm going to talk about the Gord orb. Gord.
The Gorb?
What have you been up to?
The Gorb?
I wanted to say Gorb, but I was like, right off the bat, I was like, I'm gonna hold on to that one.
You got to build up to that one.
Yeah.
That's level 2.
Right. What have I been up to recently? I've talked about being the whole of PSO2 and Final Fantasy 14 a bit, so that's not new. I'm still in those holes, sadly. Or happily, depending on who you are. But, see, getting a chance to play some other games. One that I've been playing recently is Spiritfarer.
Alright.
Which, I have it on Switch. It might be on other platforms, but I haven't checked. But basically, it's a relatively chill game where you are essentially, what's the term for, like, well, the person that, like, carries a boat, like that,
Ferryman?
rows a boat, huh?
Gondolier?
A rower?
Well, it's like a rower, but like they're purposely spiriting away people to the other side of life.
Oh, like fucking.
Are you thinking of the specific character or like that?
Like it's like sort of like a character,
No,
like.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know if there's a specific word for it. I'm thinking like ferryman.
Yeah, I've always heard ferryman.
Like
Yeah.
it's basically like ferryman, like for spearing people to the other side, like once they've passed away. And in for this game, you are the next person in line, and you basically start like you get a new boat, you start bringing people onto the boat, like that. I guess like generally speaking, for that specific character, has met in their life also. But essentially, you're like taking care of these people, helping them with their quest, and then when they're ready to like move on, you go to this like big like bridge looking thing called the Everdoor, and that's like when they're ready to move on, they go and disappear through the Everdoor. And this game is also like kind of like a some aspect like farming resource management game.
Oh,
like,
really?
you build...
I was expecting it to be kind of like a VN, like straight up just VN material.
Yeah.
It's actually like less VN-y. And like there's like some dialoguing and stuff, but it's definitely not portrayed in the same way that visual novels typically do.
Okay.
It's much more like you have like these shacks that you want to build up. Sometimes you want to upgrade them. There's like farms and like fields, like animal things.
Yeah.
Shelters. Like there's also like looms and foundries and smithies and stuff.
So
you start
it's
like actually
straight up
stuff.
almost like a city manager, but also you're taking care of these people when they die and bringing them over.
Yep.
Or are you bringing them over yourself, or are you like, hey, here's the boat later?
You are actually like bringing these people onto your boat, Like
Okay.
so much so that like you're actually building a house just for them. For most cases, it's like they want their own house, which leads into like, a couple of things, but I won't get into that right now.
Is there a problem with like a whole bunch of empty houses of like, hey, y'all don't have there's a perfectly good empty house here. Y'all have to.
It's generally speaking, like the houses are made specifically for that person, and so they will eventually become like you'll have a boat full of empty houses at some point, but you still do want them because they are still like access points for specific events. But besides the fact that it is like a city management game, it's also a bit of emphasis on actual platforming too. Because like
I need to look at a video of this game because I feel
it's like
every
three genres.
minute I feel like I have an idea of what it is, and like a minute goes by and I'm like, I was completely wrong.
So as I was saying, you're on a boat and you build like shacks and stuff on a boat.
How much platforming can there be on a boat?
Well, the thing is that like you build upward,
Okay.
and so like the platforming comes from basically like you're stacking like houses and stuff on top of each other, and so each one has like their own like weird ledge and ladders, and so there's platforming on some of that. But also, when you're on this boat, you're also like visiting different islands and stuff, and so there's like little like platforming puzzles that you'll get. You'll also gain some new abilities to let you get more access to stuff, but there's some platforming challenges there too.
Damn.
It's a pretty chill game. That's about like getting ready for like moving on, like to help you like move on with life, or like if someone's like passed away, like kind of the way to help you move on too. Very interesting game. Pretty chill. Also very pretty. The animations are like very nice and smooth. It's actually almost like cartoon-like.
Ooh.
They've done a really nice job with the animations. Though also sometimes it's just like, look, I'm just trying to like get my crops. It's nice that there's a pretty animation for it, but it keeps.
I don't. Need
I just
all
want my
the
crops.
time.
I don't need to watch this every time. I don't need to see the animation of like shearing the sheep all the time or milking
Don't
the
care.
cows.
I've done this
Just
a
give me
million times.
Look.
Yeah.
Just give me the goods. I've got a say to run.
It sounds cool. Like,
Yeah.
It does.
I mean, I definitely feel the same thing that Lema brought up of just like, I feel like I had a mental image of this game as like a very like hard VN style thing. And then it just like, this is a very, like where this went, we went on a journey here and like the destination feels way different than what I was expecting.
If I wanted to try to condense it down into genre speak,
Yeah.
it's obviously the Dark Souls now.
It's a Dark Souls.
It's
Dark
the Dark
Souls
Souls
of boat
No.
platforming.
It's a platformer slash like resource management game. That also has boat travel. So if you like sitting on a boat going from A to B, it's got
Love
a bit of
boats.
that.
I love Wind Waker.
boats.
Love a good boat.
Yeah, I love a good boat. So that's a game that I've been playing recently.
Damn, that is. What was the name of it again?
Spiritfarer. Yeah.
Spiritfarer. I'm googling that right now because I feel like I need to have like a picture of what it looks like. Okay, I can conceptualize this now.
Yep.
This makes more sense to me.
All right, I'm Googling it now. Let's see. Spirit.
I will also Google this now.
And hey, listeners at home, why don't you also Google Spiritfarer?
Okay, yeah, now it makes sense.
Right?
This reminds me, it's like Sim Tower on a boat.
Sim Tower. Ooh, that's a game I've not heard of in a long time.
Welcome to the Sim Tower portion of our podcast.
There's so much stuff on this boat. Oh, it's a big turtle. All right, it's got big turtle. I'm kind of.
It's a video game.
It's a video game.
This is definitely a video game.
It's got a big turtle. Every video game has to have a big turtle.
I don't think that's true.
It does.
But you know what
Okay,
game
every good video game has to have a big turtle.
Every good video game needs a big boy.
They're giving Oro a turtle in Street Fighter V, which doesn't really make Street Fighter V good, but it makes Oro good.
Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers has a big turtle. Got a big turtle.
There's a big turtle.
It's got a real big turtle and it spins.
Real big turtle.
We might have cracked the code here.
That's it. Yeah,
Turtle
I
code.
think we got it. It used to be there's always a treasure chest behind the waterfall. Now there's always going to be a turtle if the game is good.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, they call it turtle power.
Yeah.
Turtle
Jesus.
power.
Morgan, save us from turtle power.
I can't. I'm a big fan
Oh,
of the
shit.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Let's see. What have I been doing? So on the game front, I did a stream that's basically.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crime fighting vigilantism is praxis. I just that phrase popped into my head and it was eating my brain, and I had to let it out.
So of the 4 turtles, who do you think would be the biggest ally? Which turtle is on the side of labor?
Ooh. I want to say Donatello.
I don't want to say Donatello. Donatello would be like a shit posting podcaster, but I don't think he's like really in the thick of it. Yeah, I'm not Donatello. I think Raphael would be don't cross the picket line in the streets.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like very angry. He's boots on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. I'm down with that.
Michelangelo definitely listens to Joe Rogan.
I feel like Leonardo is probably like a super big just neolib.
Yeah, he's like yeah.
Donatello is out here on Twitter typing, best wishes. I hope Donald Trump recovers from the coronavirus, safely and fully.
He's got like $400 in RBG merch. Anyway, so what have I been up to outside of this horrible tangent about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and our Lord and Savior of Praxis, Raphael? Let's see. So twofold here. So I did a stream where I ran through a couple of VNs that I've been wanting to play through from the itch.io bundle that we touched on a little while ago, and one that really struck a chord with me was called A New Life, which took about an hour to play through. But gorgeous art, gorgeous music, absolutely my bullshit. And it sort of builds on the idea of like very small moments in the relationship between these two characters and how those kind of build and go. So you kind of play through the lives of these two women, because of course it's gay, or else I wouldn't really be interested in it. And it goes from like the first choice is like you have your sort of perspective character, and this woman walks up and says, "Hey, can I sit next to you here?" Like in this sort of like cafeteria, it's like in college or something, and you can say yes or no. And if you say no, it's like game over. Sorry.
That's it.
Yeah. So I was like, I knew it was gonna be, but I had to. But it really got me because like it goes off. It's very good. It a lot of like you get text message conversations between them that absolutely feel like things that my girlfriend and I text each other. Like, I love you, and the other person will be like, haha, you're gay. So it's like,
that's very good.
So it goes on with this, and then it takes a real hard turn when eventually in the game world COVID happens, and you have to start making decisions around quarantine, and like, what are we going to do around our health, and it eventually gets into like old age decision making. And I was like, I real life cried like 2 or 3 times while streaming it. So strong recommend on that one. I also checked in and watched so it's October, it's spooky month. I watched a horror classic from the 1970s from Hammer Films, The Vampire Lovers, which is a loose but still pretty good adaptation of the novella Carmilla, which is a cornerstone in basically lesbian lit. So it was a good movie. It was very 1970s. I loved that I think Ingrid Plott, or whatever her last name is, who plays Carmilla, looks very much out of time, because while everyone else is trying to be like 1860s Germany, she looks like she's from the 1970s. She got the big hair poof and everything.
Hell
and
yeah.
It's real good. Costuming and makeup absolutely out of this world on the movie. And what I love about it is extraordinarily gay, like very overt, very much in the text. And I found out from a different podcast that I'm a big fan of horror queers, that they had some issues with the censors in the 1970s with that.
Really?
And they got around it by saying, look, it's in the source material, which it is. And the censors were like, well, I guess you can't change it. And that's how they got through with like a very overtly gay movie in the 1970s. So check it out. It's actually aged quite well. So that was my big pitch. And I guess I'm going to go through the same actress who played Carmilla in this film also plays Elizabeth Bathory, who was in part the inspiration for a lot of vampire myths in the film Countess Dracula. And there's also Daughters of Darkness that are on my list. There's a lot of movies I want to watch this month, but especially Hocus Pocus, which is the greatest Halloween film of all time.
Is that your like, hey, every year we have to watch?
That was the thing when I was growing up. So like my mom and my older cousin, who was just like basically an older sister to me, loved Hocus Pocus. So we would watch it every Halloween. And I guess like I fell off of it, but I've kind of like, I guess once I turned 30, I just kind of swooped back. Like I really want to watch Hocus Pocus.
I've never really watched it.
You should.
I think it's one of Jess's like favorites or go-to like Halloween movies. So I think I'm gonna give it a shot this year.
You absolutely. I mean, Bette Midler is in it.
All right.
Bette Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker are two of the witches.
Huh.
All right. Yeah, I'll have to give this a shot.
It's
fine.
It's funny. It's aged well. Strong recommend from the organization that you should watch Hocus Pocus. And everyone listening to watch Hocus Pocus. Why aren't you watching? Why are you listening to this podcast? You could be watching Hocus Pocus. Unless I think it might have been pulled and it's like only on Disney Plus now. In which case you have a good reason not to watch Hocus Pocus.
Oh, yep.
Shit, I don't think we have Disney Plus anymore.
I think
Whatever,
my girlfriend does. I might have to.
Okay.
Yep, it's a Disney Plus thing now.
Son of a bitch.
Damn, bummer.
Gord, do you have like a hey, every Halloween season, every October, like I watch like this scary movie or this like Halloweenish series or something?
No.
No.
I don't really watch stuff that often, so
All right.
I don't really have like very many like films that I would consider tradition to watch whenever it comes up. If we're talking about people in just like weird costumes or something that might fit the bill, was when I was a kid, I definitely ended up watching Robin Hood Men in Tights over and over and over as a kid.
That explains a lot.
You know what? There is every season is a good season to watch Robin Hood Men in Tights in. That movie is
Absolutely.
fantastic.
Absolutely. I think that might be the strongest recommend.
Yeah. I was gonna recommend mine and like I feel really good about mine, then I was like, shit. Nah, Robin Hood Men in Tights it's a real good fucking movie. I need to rewatch that. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time for me too. Like as I said, like it's so rare for me to actually watch like any movie or TV show these days.
Yeah.
So pretty hard for me to recommend stuff, generally speaking. But if people have recommendations for me, I'll eventually check it out.
All right. So this kind of became a tradition for me a couple years ago. But now every October I rewatch Over the Garden Wall, which was it's a series. It's 12 episodes, but all the episodes are only like 10 minutes each. So really, it's just about the length of like your standard movie. But oh my god, it is so good. It's fantasy, and then it's really good. I don't want to get into it too much without spoiling anything, but it's good. It's creepy and scary a little bit, but not enough to where like if I had like a younger sibling, like I could totally watch it with them. Like absolutely no problem watching them. The voice cast is really well done. Everything's fantastic about it. I think it's on Hulu. It should still be on Hulu.
I've actually heard a lot of good things about that show, and I legitimately only know like one thing, and it's a scene about eating food that has potatoes and molasses.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Like I think most of the episodes, at least, have a song in them. I don't remember for sure. That's actually the one song that I really dislike, though.
Oh, rip. It'd be like that
That's
sometimes.
the only one that I'm just like can't get into it. Just do not like this song.
I am searching. I have never seen this. I've never even really
oh,
seen.
it
I've never
rules.
seen references to it even.
One of the main characters is played by Elijah Wood. I don't know who plays the person across from him, but it's fantastic. It is fast become, like I said, like one of my favorite like shows to watch, and because it's so short, it's like you really can just like knock it out incredibly fast.
All right, I'll add it to my list. It actually looks pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah, the poster for it I actually really love.
It's a very good poster.
All the promotion art is like super good.
Yeah, but I've heard
Absolutely.
glowing things about this show from a decent number of people.
Wow, a decent number of people.
Yeah.
A whole decent number.
I almost like want to stop recording. Like, okay, I have to go watch Over the Garden Wall tonight.
Please don't do
I know I
that.
was planning on doing some raids in Final Fantasy and stuff, but nope, gotta watch Over the Garden Wall.
All right, I'm gonna add that to my list too. I will check it out. Thank you for the recommendation, and I will recommend to
course.
you Hocus Pocus.
I will watch Hocus Pocus. I will try and do that before we record next.
All right.
I'm curious. It has been a while since I watched it. I have very fond memories of it. So
Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm like, even when if I rewatch it with my girlfriend, we'll see how I feel about it. Also, strong recommend because I know a lot of people. I think everyone in Yase or a lot of us did, and probably listeners as well bought the itch.io bundle. Like really strong recommend on A New Life. I mean, even just beyond it being being gay, it was just like a really very wholesome and then very somber piece about like love and aging. And for as short as it was, had like a lot of really good moments. Like one of the characters gets really wrapped up in this project because when they were kids, they decided they were gonna like start a company together that combined their interests. And then by getting so wrapped up in trying to make this outcome happen, they start damaging the relationship by neglecting their partner and not being present. Like, I know I need to work late tonight because I got to like get this company off the ground. And they're like, yeah, but like you doing that is not making either of us happy. And it's like, it's good. It felt like very real. Like it was written by somebody like from, it felt like it was like reading someone's diary. Like it came from personal experience.
Ooh.
So the I think I'm looking at the itch.io site for A New Life. It's by Zefio.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Let me.
It looks very colorful.
Oh, this
very
looks
like
cute.
Yeah.
like very water painting esque.
Yeah, it's very like watercolor style art.
Yes.
Yeah, watercolor. Yeah, that's it. Very pretty.
Yeah, it's good. The music is really good. It made me very happy. Made me very sad. But yeah, it took me like it didn't take me long to play through it. So like again, strong recommend.
Yeah, this looks very cute. I'll have to check this out. And yeah, I keep forgetting, like, I bought the itch.io bundle, and there's so little that I actually touched from it. And I really should get around to playing more of the things that are in it, at least looking at more of the things that are in it. Because, good lord, there's so much in there.
I've only looked at a couple things so far, so
I wrote up this whole big-ass list of, like, okay, here's what I want to check out. And then I checked out maybe, like, a third of the things that I actually wrote down.
It's hard.
Which is a super bummer. Yeah, right, just finding time for shit is, like...
Like
It's a
let
mess.
me lay upon to you, and I'm sure that you are all in the same position. But like I started Drakengard 3. I think I got toward the end of the first playthrough of it. I haven't finished it. And, you know, by falling off streaming and everything and having to deal with some hand issues, like that put a damper on stuff. But even just from like my folder from the itch bundle, I've got A Short Hike, Golf Peaks, Death and Taxes, let's see, Dungeons and Lesbians, which was actually a very fun, goofy VN. But like The Night Fisherman, Tonight We Riot, like I've got a lot of stuff in here. And it just, a lot of these are like maybe even like a short game being only like, let's say a couple hours, you multiply that out and it's like there's like a lot of gameplay there, maybe like 50 or 60 hours, and that's barely even scratching the surface of what was in that bundle.
Yeah. God, there's so much there. I've gotten around to nothing of it, but I can I can at least say what I have got around to in the past week, I suppose.
What have you gotten around to?
Oh my gosh, I have gotten back to... So I got back to a lot of things that either I've been meaning to play or things that I've played a little bit of, really enjoyed, and then for whatever reason just never went back to. One of the big ones for me, I went back to Dragon Quest XI on the Switch. I absolutely love that game. I love the Dragon Quest series. Before picking it up last week again, the last time I had played it was in February. And it wasn't that I got particularly like burnt out on the game or anything. It's that I was talking to someone online, and I was like, oh hey, we were talking about Dragon Quest, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm playing through it right now, I'm really enjoying it, blah blah blah. They're like, oh well, did major plot event happen already? And it's like, what?
Oh no.
That's a thing? So they just completely spoiled like a big fucking thing for me, and I was like, okay, well there goes like all my interest in playing this game.
Oh, that
And
sucks.
so I finally got back around to playing it, and I'm like, okay, I'm having a lot of fun, and there's still things that are happening that I didn't expect. Like, I did just hit a major plot point that may be connected to what they were talking about, I'm not sure yet. And right now, essentially, my party is entirely split up, and it's everyone, like everyone's by themselves, and they're going through a lot of, like, emotional turmoil. And so it's a lot of like, hey, when it seems like everything is over, essentially, potential spoilers, Dragon Quest XI. I'm just gonna throw that out there because I don't know what people's threshold is for spoilers, so I'm just gonna say that now.
Plug your ears, kids.
Essentially, it's after the apocalypse happens and you survive, how do you put the pieces back together, and how do you find the strength or the ways to keep on moving? Which
that sounds
is a
very
bit
heavy.
more than I expected. And that may be a bit more than I was expecting, but it basically got to the point in the story was, hey, the big bad got exactly what he wanted. He took away like a big part of what made the hero, and now he's separated all of you, and monsters have now more or less like overrun the Earth.
That sounds bad.
Yeah, and like everyone's split apart with no clue where everyone else is, so it's like, how is everyone handling this? Sylvando, one of the characters, the first thing that you control after this happens, he's like, I don't have my friends, I don't, like, what I can do is, though, like, he was always a performer, and he was like, that was always his thing. He's like, I can go around the world making people happy, and I can help people on an individual basis. And then I can recruit other people to come with me and help just try and bring some joy back into the world. And so that's what he does. It's all like little stories like that. Like one of the characters found out that a place you visited earlier, the people that were there that you rescued at one point are once again like essentially being made to be slaves to the monsters. And so she goes back to there because that's the only thing that she knows about. And it's really good. I am super enjoying it. I'm very, very, very glad to pick the game back up. But that aside, though, No Man's Sky had a big update. I went back to that, downloaded it, and played it again. And I was like, no, the magic's gone for me. Every time I've gone back to that game, I haven't been able to stick with it. Like, I'll play it for like 2 hours, and I'm like, no, I'm just gonna uninstall.
I miss David's updates for that. Of what we used to call it. Like, so
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. That's absolutely what I thought you said at first. I was just like,
a part of me feels like
No
that
Man's
game has
Sky
gotten. A lot of me feels like that game has gotten almost too complicated. They added in too many things, and now it's, hey, look at all these different things you can do and all these different mechanics that are now in the game. But now it's so far away from the sheer simplicity that I really loved, which is kind of a bummer. But it's still cool to go back there every once in a while, just check it out. I finally started Dragon's Dogma, which I really like that game. Fucking rules so far.
I'm glad you
like
like
I'm
it.
having a lot of fun with that. Yeah. Dragon's Dogma, if you're not aware, I don't entirely know how I would describe it quite yet, but Capcom done made in Oblivion. That's what I'm gonna say. Fuck it. Capcom made Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Maybe that's accurate. Probably not. It definitely isn't. But I like it. It's fun. The original intro music to it fucking owns. Like, holy shit.
I mean, the game
have
is
y'all heard
really
it?
good. Because the way that I've heard is that basically you had, I believe, the Monster Hunter team, like, given a chance to just make like an open world game, and so they made Dragon's Dogma.
Oh shit!
I think that's like
Is that actually by the Monster Hunter team?
I think so.
Because that wouldn't surprise me, given like there's definitely aspects of combat where it's like, hey, you can like grapple and like climb on top of the monsters and stuff like that, and they all have like different, or some of them have like different, not only weak points that you can attack, but like, oh, you can cut off the tail, or you can cut off like if it has multiple heads, like you can cut off like one of the heads of it and stuff like that. So like that doesn't surprise me at all, hearing that it's potentially from the Monster Hunter team. That actually lines up super well with what I would expect.
That sounds super sick.
It's a really fucking cool game, and it's cheap. And yeah, the fucking the original intro song is so goddamn good, which unfortunately is not in the PC version. Although there are absolutely mods to put it back in, which is like you gotta. It's so fucking good. It goes so harder than it has any goddamn right to. I'm still super early in that game though, so I really do want to keep playing it. It might become a stream game for me, because I could very easily just kind of chill out and play it. Lastly, not lastly, there's two other games. I got back into a game called Monolith, which I really love.
Mm-hmm.
Monolith is a roguelike, and it's a top-down, kind of looks like a twin-stick shooter, honestly. The idea is you're kind of going down, you're exploring ancient ruins and stuff like that. It's pretty simple, but it's dirt cheap. The whole like art style and aesthetic is like fucking, it's real on point. It has that like, oh, like ancient abandoned like high-tech civilization vibe to it, mixed with like kind of like gritty machinery.
All right, I like that aesthetic.
Yeah. It, like even just from the HUD, it's like, it's not like, oh, you fly this super sleek like high-tech plane. It's like, now your plane's like kind of been through some shit, and it has a feeling like, especially when you've taken a lot of damage, it has this general feeling of like, hey, your shit's barely held together right now. Like the UI starts to like shake a little bit more, and it's like the colors start to like fade like in and out like a tiny bit. It's real fucking good. There's a lot to Monolith that I really like. That game is a lot of like, hey, I have to make a hard choice here. Do I want to stick with this gun that I only have so much ammunition left in, or do I want to sacrifice it for a gun that's shittier, but the trade-off here is that I'm going to have enough ammo in there so I know that I'll be able to at least get to the boss and have the ammo for that gun. Whereas I don't know if I'll be able to get, if I'll have ammo when I get to the boss otherwise. Like shit like that, where it's just like, it makes you think and strategize a little bit more than I think I was expecting in what seems like a really simplistic game, but I absolutely love it. And then Forza Horizon 4.
Oh, you're a carboy.
I got back into Forza Horizon 4. Yeah, I got that on Game Pass, because it's free on Game Pass. That game fucking rules.
I've heard really good things
It's
about
fantastic.
the Forza series.
Yeah, this is actually the first one of the Forza Horizon series I played, because I haven't had like a Microsoft device in like my computer for who knows how long. But when it comes to driving games, or racing games, whatever you want to call them, racing is rarely the thing that I'm super focused on doing, that I'm super interested in or excited by. More often than not, it's, hey, can I just fucking drive and just like cruise and just go fast and listen to music? Like, that's what I want to do more often than not, is just like, hey, I just want to drive through like the countryside or wherever and just have a lot of road in front of me that essentially will end up looping back into other parts of the map. And it's great. It's such a relaxing, kind of like unwinding thing for me. And Forza Horizon is great for that. And they've also been doing the missions, of course. They have a really, of course, it's like a bunch of races and stuff like that. But one of the events they have that I really like is a stunt racer one, which was literally like, hey, we needed someone to be a stunt driver for this movie that's going on, and these are the stunts that we're going to have you do, and everything else, and I don't know. That's nothing like necessarily new or revolutionary, probably, but I super enjoy it.
Oh, cool. It reminds me of the I'm probably nowhere near the level, but like I think the only racing game I really have experience with, or my touchstone, is the Burnout series. So when you said like, oh yeah, you know, you're a racer and you got to do like tricks, and I'm like, oh no, many people will die.
Before I get into the racing talk for a second, I do want to fix up what I said about the people that made Dragon's Dogma. It wasn't by the Monster Hunter team. It was actually by the Devil May Cry team.
Oh,
because the director and the producer both worked on Devil May Cry. So let's see. This is the director?
That's pretty fucking cool, though.
It's a Devil May Cry team, actually. So I was wrong about that. So
that makes it even cooler.
Please don't send me messages that tell me I was wrong.
Everyone at Gordon with all of your criticisms at Jarvdog.
Go to at Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, at Gordon Ramsay.
And let them know all of your complaints about the YASEcast.
About video game facts and YASEcast, etc., etc. So now going back to like racing game type stuff. Generally speaking, like racing games are not a thing that I really play, but I've been playing this one racing game with some friends called Sonic Robo Blast 2 Kart.
I have heard of that, and I've seen a lot of stuff for that, and I keep forgetting to like download it because the name is very long and it confuses me.
So there's actually like a bunch of layers going on here. So layer 1 is that it's a racing game in the same style as like Mario Kart. Layer 2 is that it's a racing game that's built on the Doom engine.
Okay.
And 3 is that these people made a game called Sonic Robo Blast 2. And so they're like, you know what else is cool? Let's make a kart racing game. So they made Sonic Robo Blast 2 Kart. So you have like this like actually like super good like Mario Kart style racing game that's built on the Doom engine and just has like a bunch of like WADs and stuff for it with like custom like different kart drivers that all have like their own stats. Like, you can play as like Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, Metal Sonic, Eggman, etc., etc. as the basic ones. Then you can play as like Hatsune Miku or a Chao or PS1 Solid Snake.
All right.
Or
I'm here for this.
Are these all already in the game, or is this like mods that you have to add on your own?
So there's a decent number that are already in the game because like a bunch of like general Sega properties I believe are already there, but there's a bunch more that people have just made that you can add on into the game. And there's also like a ton of tracks too.
I have already downloaded it and I'm installing this now.
Yep.
Just throwing that out there.
There's like a whole wiki page to see what characters there are. One note is that piece like I've been told this, so I don't, and by people that definitely know how to race karts, but like you do want to drift earlier than like most games do. And also the start boost is also you start that a little earlier than most games, but it's like really good. I'm bad, but it's a good game. It's also
I'm
free,
bad, but it's a good game.
And you can play as Sonic.
Is this? Oh, it's already fucking done installing.
The power of the Doom engine.
Boy. Okay.
Doom just remains the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah,
It truly does.
it's when you try to like just do stuff in that game, you'll be like, "This is the Doom engine." I'm actually impressed.
Yeah.
I can be Blue Tails.
Yeah, you can be all
Blue
sorts
tails?
of colors. You can be
I
red
can be
tails
Caribbean Tails.
or purple
I can be
tails.
Caribbean Tails.
But also,
Okay.
it actually has like its own like server browser built into the game too, which is not something that
What?
Doom has. So
Is this like a thing that people? I know nothing about this. I'm not a big kart racer person. I watch the speedrun videos from Summoning Salt. That's about it. But like, so is this like a popular thing that people are playing actively, or is this just like a thing you have to organize with friends?
I mostly only play with friends, but I do know that there are servers online that I can play with, and people will jump into them. And what's funny
cool.
about them is that there's some servers have mods for like horns, because by default you don't actually have like horns that you can like honk at them. But there are some servers that have this like horn mod that has like 100 to like 200 voice clips of just like random stuff. Like there was one that had like a bunch of different sounds from like Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Like
Alright.
so I would just like
Yo, this rules, by the way.
just imagine like you're just kart racing and then you're just like honking the horn and you just hear hidden missiles. Hidden missile. And
Yeah.
other people can hear it too.
Oh, that's the best part. It's like basically the same idea as like TF2 mic spam.
Oh yeah, it's definitely like that.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Demo day. Demo
or
day.
another
Like
one
on a
is
Habit
like
Hotel server.
it's like the Karnov's Revenge, like balloon. You just like spam the horn, just going balloon, like junk like that.
This is legitimately cool as shit.
Yeah, it's
I'm playing it right now, and this is cool. This is fucking dope.
another thing too
I'm
is
playing a level right now where it's like, and just one of the things that I like a lot, where it's not just like, oh yeah, the tracks are all like, one big circle. It's like, no, it's just one long, like, straight track.
there's
Not straight, but like, it's, you go from point A to point B rather than you go from point A to point B, then you loop back to point A and repeat ad infinitum.
there's a lot of variation in the tracks and how they play, and they're mostly pretty good. And also like they even have like this whole concept of like getting as many gold medals as you can, like just like general like single player like track racing, so you can unlock stuff. And so like the gold medal is generally speaking being the staff ghost, because you can watch all the replays of all the staff members racing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's dope.
And also, there's one staff ghost that is actually insane. And if you see a green tails that is in first place, that person's a god. Like,
Good to know.
one of the people that I play with, who's like he's been actively playing the game, and he's like, every time he sees that green tails staff ghost, he's like, this guy is going to ruin my day. It almost feels like he's cheating. Holy crap. Why is he going? Why is he so fast? What the heck?
Okay. Yeah, I did a time attack race. This fucking rules.
Yeah, it's a lot better than you expect.
You
Dope as hell.
did a race. You installed the game and started playing mid podcast.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
It's a part of the Doom engine.
That's the same. So like I was saying how Doom has kind of been the gift that keeps on giving, but so it was like the original Doom was a big game for me when I was a kid, but another game was big for me in middle school, and that game was Baldur's Gate 2, and Baldur's Gate 3 just went into early access today, and this is a very
Yes.
good segue. So I have actually not looked at it. I've been kind of like, don't want to hear anything about it, don't want to know anything about its development or whatnot, because honestly, I'm kind of expecting it to be disappointing. And when I say like Baldur's Gate 2 is a big deal, like it was a big deal for me. I spent a lot of hours in that game. And I can still hear some of the voice clips from the intro because I re-rolled so often. Like, the pain will only be passing. Or the pain will only be passing. You should survive the process. And, the child of Baal has awoken. So, I'm kind of dummy hyped now that it's in early access. I'm thinking about jumping on that. And I know it sounds like from the pre-show talk, some of y'all have actually seen bits of it. And I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Yeah, so I only watched a little bit of it today on Twitch. One of my friends was streaming it, so I was checking him out. But it does two things that I think are actually very cool. So one, it's absolutely a lot, unsurprisingly, pretty reminiscent of the earlier Baldur's Gate games. Some pretty cool dialogue trees, stuff like that. The plot hook early on that I'm not going to spoil or anything. Pretty cool actually. I think the whole setup and the reason why you're doing your thing is pretty dang neat. What I thought was super cool from what I saw though is that there is a Twitch extension for the game. And what that does is when you come to a point in the game where there's a dialogue tree where it's like, hey, you can choose A, B, or C, chat votes on what they want you to do.
Oh, that's...
And they'll give you like the percentage. They give you like the percentage breakdown of like, hey, here's what the chat voted.
And do
That's
they actually
interesting.
override you?
No,
Oh,
it doesn't
okay.
override you or anything.
But it's like that's
So-
interesting.
Yeah, it makes the stream a lot more interesting when you can essentially vote for something, regardless of whether or not it actually goes through or the streamer is going to listen to it. It makes it a lot more interesting to kind of watch in on that stream.
I was
Yeah.
concerned.
And the game is like stupid gorgeous too. Holy crap! The character creator is like so in depth.
I was
Good lord.
I was concerned that it was going to pull like a Dead Cells style Twitch integration thing, where in that game, the chat votes to ruin your day. They also throw birds at you.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, that's right. Like, wasn't that a thing in Dead Cells that they could vote on the artifacts for you
Yep.
or something?
Like
that,
what choicing that you do. So I was like, oh, that's going to be terrifying for a Baldur's Gate style.
That sounds like
game.
built-in like crowd control integrations. I mean that's kind of
Yeah.
neat, but
Um,
that's pretty scary though.
So, for stuff that I know about this game, one, I actually haven't like seen like any gameplay. I know like two things, or I guess three things about this game. One is that the people that made Baldur's Gate 3 are the same people that made Divinity Original Sin.
I heard that game
one
was
and two?
great.
And so, the studio is called Larian Studio, but for both of the Divinity Original Sin games, those are both also early access games. And what they do is they spend like actually a year with having the game in early access, and then like actually taking in gameplay feedback and such for like and like building cycles on it. From what I've heard, this game, it like if you do buy it right now, you get the first entire chapter.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's only like 6 classes. Well, I was looking at like some of the character creation stuff. There's only 6 classes right now. There's like a bunch of races already implemented in the game.
So what you got? Cleric, fighter, ranger, rogue, warlock, and wizard.
Yep.
Looks like.
Okay, that's pretty standard.
Yeah.
There's like a few ones that like come in like D&D staples that aren't there, like bards, monks. Like those
Yeah.
are two pretty big ones, but like those are like not like ones that like are big core stuff.
Yeah, right. I feel like they got all the essential ones in there.
Was not expecting some of the races that they introduced, because like you're used to like humans, halflings, dwarves, elves,
Yeah.
half elves, but then they have like there's a separate category for like drow elves, like the drow. Then there's like tieflings, which are like very demon-esque looking characters.
So
Yeah.
So it looks like this is super exciting to me. I really miss playing D&D and tabletop games and stuff a lot.
It's been
Maybe
a
this
long
will-
time for me.
Maybe this will fill the void in my heart.
Yeah. Also,
I actually just started a game with some friends like a couple weeks ago, and it after not playing for a while, and it feels very good to get back in.
It's a lot of fun. Circling back, it's really good to know that that's how they handle early access, because I feel like I've been burned by early access before, and even like I was streaming earlier and talking to one of my viewers about this, of kind of I guess another game that went through a similar cycle that ended up being much better for it, where the devs were like listening to the right people and everything, was Hades, which has been released to huge acclaim, but I guess was in beta for a long time, and they were taking feedback and listening to players and making a better game out of it. And that's a rare thing on this podcast to talk about patches in a good way. It's usually like, oh, this patch sucks. Who are they listening to? And it's like the thought that they're like really listening to players and trying to make a good experience. That's very reassuring to me.
Speaking about Baldur's Gate voice acting, like one thing that I think about in Baldur's Gate 2 is definitely Minsk and Boo.
Minsk and Boo stand ready.
Go for the eyes, Boo!
Go for the eyes, Boo! Go for the eyes! Oh god! Like the what are the other ones that really stick out to me? Hardalis's "I Can Dance on the Head of a Pin" as well.
Minsk and Boo are by far.
Was it?
There's a bard. He's like, "I can dance on the head of a pin as well." Or no, it was the rogue dude who betrays you in Baldur's Gate 2. He's like, "I can dance on the head of a pin as well."
I'd never really played Baldur's Gate 2, to be super honest.
Missing out.
It just did not collide with my my circle of games.
I don't know if I'd recommend it now. I don't like it is a very crunch heavy game. If you have played D&D before, it's based on, I want to say, AD&D or Advanced D&D.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's actually
it's
Warhammer 2.0, which I think is Advanced D&D.
Yeah, you have THAC0 is a thing in the game.
Yep, that goes a thing.
So,
me and some friends actually played through Baldur's Gate 1. I think it was sometime last year, and that game is very crunchy. Definitely, I don't think it has aged well. It's because it's a system where it's like the game plays in real time, but then you can pause it. But we were playing as like 3 players, each with 2 characters. So we're like, all right, let's try to coordinate our 2 characters in real time. All right, wait, no, we got pause. All right, are you ready to go? Are you ready to go? Okay, we're ready to go. 5 seconds happen. All right, pause again. We gotta think. Figure this out. And that game's also like super brutal too. It's a very crunchy game.
I looked up a playlist of Minsk's voice lines, and I just I feel like my brain crunching under nostalgia.
It's
that thing that's
I
going around.
All of these now. I can hear all of them and their.
It's definitely like one of those things that like, if you don't really plan on playing like Baldur's Gate 2 or like pay attention to it in any way, if there's one thing that I think you should listen to, it's definitely listening to Minsk and Boo.
So the pitch for Minsk and Boo is that Minsk is a bald-headed ranger and an incredibly good character in that game, like in Crunch and just as a character. And his companion Boo is a hamster, but he's not just a hamster. Boo is a miniaturized giant space hamster.
Oh, okay.
And that's Minsk's whole story. So Minsk is like a very weird character. Although I want to say in the end it does canonize that like Minsk is actually a miniature giant hamster, who just makes him a normal sized hamster.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
It's just a lot of fun listening to him, and Minsk. You double check Minsk's voice actor.
Looking at this right now.
It's maybe one of the best.
It's Jim Cummings.
Hamster.
Is who voices Minsk.
Maybe one of the best uses of like cases of voice acting. I'm going to just say by bar none. Like in video games, I think Minsk and Boo and Baldur's Gate 2 stand out so much to me. And examples of like they make that game. They absolutely make the entire game.
Yes.
This is so good. I'm just reading. Some of Minsk's dialogue includes Boo in it. Examples, as y'all mentioned before: "Go for the eyes, Boo! Go for the eyes!" Then camaraderie, adventure, and steel on steel. The stuff of legend, right, Boo? And then lastly, we are all heroes. You and Boo and I. Hamsters and rangers everywhere. Rejoice.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so good.
Fantastic.
When you listen to like "Go for the Eyes," it's so good and dramatic when it happens because like it's like a voice line that happens in combat, but it's just the way that that Jim Cummings voices it is so good. So good.
Oh, I found it. I found a clip of it on YouTube. Oh my god.
It's so good.
This is so insane. Holy crap.
Yep.
Oh, I love this. I love this so much. Nah, I'm gonna read this Baldur's Gate wiki page. Jan Jansen will try to steal Boo several times without success. Oh my god.
This is like kind of like the legacy that Baldur's Gate 3 kind of like has to work on. Like has to like work against maybe, depending on like how you view that game. But like with Larian Studio being behind the development of Baldur's Gate 3, I think that game will be very promising.
I wanna believe, but I mean, I'm definitely in that camp of I have so much nostalgia and so much connection with Baldur's Gate 2 that I don't know if it can fill those shoes. Because at a point, they're not even the shoes of Baldur's Gate 2. They're the shoes of my memory of that game.
Yep.
But
we'll have to find out, though.
I'll try to give it a fair shake.
This is fantastic.
All right. Well,
I need to get off
should we end it? Should we end it now though, so you can?
We should end it now, so I can go and read up about space hamsters, or maybe it's a real hamster. Who knows?
Absolutely, a space
thank
hamster.
you so much for. Well, I'm gonna have to watch a let's play of Baldur's Gate 2 and not actually play it to find out for sure.
That would actually be a good time to get yourself prepped for some good old D&D video gaming.
I need to check that shit out. But yeah, we should wrap this up for sure. Thank you for listening to the YASEcast. This is episode, 24? 24. Yes, that's right. I managed to remember which number we were on. I am Lamo. Thank you again to Morgan. Thank you again to Gord for joining me here tonight on the podcast. Morgan, where can the people find you?
You can find me at Twitter at Morganization13. You can find me occasionally. I'll tweet it when I stream. I spent a while streaming Genshin Impact today, and it was fun. So we'll see. I might get back into streaming. Who knows? Might stream some more gay visual novels. It's kind of more whatever I feel like doing now, instead of playing games that I feel like I am obligated to play on a given day.
Which is good. Don't feel like you're obligated to play
shit. I don't
shit.
like pigeonholing myself to like, oh, I'm a fighting game streamer. It's like I want to play other things, but oh no, I guess I'm playing, X fighting game or X whatever today. Nah, not anymore. Life too short.
Yeah,
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I read a thing from Grand Pooh Bear, a big Super Mario player. He's like, hey, this is the month where I've played like the least like Mario games on my stream. And he's like, I've never been happier. So like I've never had like more fun like streaming in the past month than I have just saying like, hey, I'm just gonna play what I want. And if you're here for you wanted to watch me because of Mario, like, too bad. Watch me for these other things too. Like, there's cool shit out there. So do what you want. Be happy.
Hell yeah.
Gord, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at TKShadow. That O is actually a 0. So be on lookout for the real TKShadow, not the fake TKShadow.
For a split second, I thought that was a joke. I was like, there's no O in TKShadow. Then I was like, oh wow, I'm dumb. It didn't last long. It was a long thought, but it was long enough for me to be like, a little disappointed in my brain today.
Oop ah, oop ah.
Oop ah. And you can find me, Lamo, on Twitter at twitter.com/Lamo_SD. You can find me on Twitch maybe someday. Twitch.tv/Lamo. Kind of taking a break from streaming, so who knows when I'm going to come back to there, but just follow me on Twitter. You'll see all the info, I promise. And thank you again for joining in. We'll be back at you in the near future. We might have some changes coming up to our schedule and some of the format of the show. Might be having some guests on pretty soon. We're still ironing out the kinks, but don't worry, it's happening, and we're pretty sure it's going to be fucking rad. So thank you again to everyone for coming on the show. Thank you again to our listeners. Stay beautiful, and we will see you.